At 2:14 a.m., I was working in the metro tunnel. The control panel displayed my own name with a message, "Evacuate within 30 seconds or the signal will be cut." But I was apparently the person who needed to be evacuated. Night shifts were always like this: silent, monotonous, safe. Line 4, C12 signaling point, routine maintenance. During hours when no one was around, listening to sounds no one else heard, I felt like part of the system. Invisible, functional, insignificant. But tonight was different. The green light on the control panel flickered. First it dimmed, then turned red. A message appeared on the screen: signal malfunction detected, Area C12, evacuation procedure initiated. Normal, standard. That's what I thought. But there was a second line at the bottom of the screen: target, Mertkaya, IDMT 4782. My name, my ID number. But I didn't know why the signal was locked onto me. When my finger touched the screen, the system responded. A voice. Mechanical. Cold. Personnel MT 4782, please leave Area C12, automatic security protocol activated. My heart raced. I looked around. The tunnel was empty. Only me. And that voice. Which protocol? I asked. My voice echoed in the tunnel. No answer came. The screen refreshed, time remaining, 28 seconds. And right then, I heard footsteps in the tunnel. What would you do if the system declared you an error? At first I tried to think logically. Maybe a software glitch. Maybe wrong code entry. Maybe someone opened the wrong file. But the footsteps were approaching. Fast. Regular. 2 people. I reached into my pocket. Phone. Emergency line. But when I touched the screen, there was no signal. None. Even in the deepest point of the tunnel there would be signal. But now, nothing. Time remaining, 19 seconds. I started running. Right tunnel. The emergency exit door was 200 meters away. I knew it. I passed through there every day. But in the darkness, distances were deceptive. As I ran breathlessly, the sounds behind me stopped. For a moment I felt hopeful. Maybe they turned back. Maybe it really was a mistake. But when the phone vibrated, I understood time was running out. It wasn't a message. It wasn't a notification. It was a coordinate. C12, target location 47 meters ahead. They were tracking me. Wait, don't miss this detail. The coordinate was sent from my phone. The location shown in the system was my device's location. They were using my phone to find me. I put the phone in my pocket and kept running. But when I reached the emergency exit door, nausea hit me. The door was closed. Not just closed. Locked. A red light was blinking. It said, "Security lock active, unauthorized entry prohibited." I punched it. Kicked it. I wanted to scream but my voice knotted in my throat. The footsteps behind me started again. They were closer now. And a voice came through my earpiece. Familiar but uncertain, "Mert, you must stop." The red light on the screen stayed solid. This was the most ordinary nightmare that could happen to you. An error. A misunderstanding. A form. An approval. And you're left outside the system. But I still didn't understand. Why me? As I ran toward the control room, I thought about last week. The report. That damn report. A week ago, I had detected an anomaly on the C8 line. The signaling system had locked up for a moment. A 0.4 second delay. Most people wouldn't even notice. But I had noticed. And I had reported it. That was the procedure. Every deviation, no matter how small, had to be reported. My manager, Salim, had listened to me. He smiled. "Good job, Mert," he said. "We'll handle it." But since that day, my shift had been changed. Now I was on the night shift. Now I was always alone. When I reached the control room door, I couldn't breathe. I pushed the door open and rushed inside. The lights were on. The screens were lit. But no one was there. On the desk sat a file. Red labeled. Security risk, personnel termination procedure. I opened the file. The first page was a form. The second page was a list. And on that list was my name. Mert Kaya, MT 4782, System Deviation Report, Risk Level High. At that moment he thought he wasn't alone, but he was wrong. The door closed behind me. I turned around. It was Salim. He was smiling. But his eyes were cold. "Mert," he said. His voice calm, almost fatherly. "You shouldn't have opened the file." "What does this mean?" I asked. "Why is my name here?" Salim approached the desk. He had a tablet in his hand. He looked at the screen. "The system marked you as an error. You reported a deviation. But the problem is, that deviation wasn't designed for you to notice. You were supposed to miss it. The signaling system isn't just for train control, Mert. It also runs human behavior simulation. Every personnel is a data point. Every report, a reaction measurement. And you saw the anomaly. What you weren't supposed to see. But that wasn't what I really noticed." On the screen behind him, there were other names besides mine. Under the heading Closed Files. 15 names. All personnel who had resigned or transferred in the last 3 years. All had written reports. All had disappeared. You, all of them. I couldn't finish the sentence. Salim nodded. "We're just executors, Mert. The system decides. We just implement." "What system? Who runs this?" He smiled. But this time it was cold. "You would have learned anyway. But now it's too late." He raised the tablet in his hand. Pressed a button. A noise came from the depths of the tunnel. Metro signal. An approaching train. But there shouldn't be a train at this hour. The control room door automatically locked. I looked outside through the glass. Lights appeared on the rails. But it wasn't a train. It was a maintenance vehicle. Silent. Fast. Automatic. And it was coming straight toward the control room. Salim turned his back. 30 seconds, he said. The system will terminate you. Without leaving physical traces. You'll be erased from records. Like you never existed. I hit the window. I screamed. But it wasn't soundproof. The vehicle stopped. 2 figures emerged. Identical clothing. Masked faces. And I understood. This wasn't an error. This was a system cleanup. The signal was cut. The metro stopped. but I wasn't the malfunction. The system that wanted to silence me was still running. And if you're reading this story, maybe one day you'll see an error in the system too. And maybe you'll report it too. Here's my advice: sometimes seeing the truth costs more than living in ignorance. Choose carefully what you notice, what you report, and what you question. Because not every system wants to be fixed. Some just want to keep running.